Okay, so we're going to do an initial exploration of the analysis now that Autopsy has finished an analysis, and see what kind of data we can see in the UI. So let's first take a look at the data sources. And there's nothing really unexpected here. It tells us that the data sources are coming from this image here. It does talk a little bit about unallocated space. So it did analyze the unallocated space, and that's an option that Autopsy has. You don't necessarily have to examine unallocated space if you don't want to. It does take longer, and if you know what you're looking for, you don't necessarily need to do it. Okay, I'm going to skip over views for right now. Let's take a look at results, and we're not going to find much here just because we didn't do a lot here. We didn't look for keywords. Didn't find any keyword hits. That's just because we didn't look for anything. Hash sets, we didn't do anything with hashes. There are no email messages on this drive. I don't know what it considers interesting items, but those are more anomalous things that it can't quite put into a category. Tags, nothing. Reports, nothing. We didn't do anything. However, in views, you're going to see quite a bit initially. So let's take a look at the file types. Under images, you can see 5 images. Notice that Porsche 3 is deleted. Okay, you can see that by the little X. And you can also take a look at all of these sizes. None of these sizes look out of range. Remember when we did data carving that we said, okay, if there was a size that didn't make sense, we might consider it for a data carving exercise. So it's got all the information about these image files. We have no videos. We have a bunch of audio, and you'll notice that some of these were in different folders. So it gives you the path. This is in the Asia folder. This is just on the root of the USB device. And here again, we can take a look at the sizes. I don't see anything that looks interesting or out of ordinary. I do see the Alice2.mp3 was deleted. Okay, nothing under archives, documents, no HTML, no Office, but 5 PDFs, one of which has been deleted, 2 plain text, and no executable. Okay, so that's sort of the initial pass at looking through this information. Okay, so here I am back at the images, and there's a really nice media viewer here. The metadata just gives you kind of a, this information is interesting, but I've never found it that useful. The strings are, I think, more interesting just because it gives you a lot of the EXIF data. Now this was taken with a really old camera, so because of that, the EXIF data is not going to be all that complete. I think this was probably taken, this picture was probably taken 15 years ago on a really old digital camera. And then you can actually see the hex code. And this is a really, this is a difficult way to actually look at the code. So I'm going to go ahead and go out and create a text file, image data.txt. So now we've got that file out there. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say select all, copy. Now I've got this here created, and I'm just going to paste it in. And this gives me a really easy way if I want to just take a look at the data, maybe consider whether or not I need to do any kind of data carving. So this is a really nice way to just take a preliminary look at the data. So I can also extract this picture. So let me go ahead and extract that file, and I'm going to save it to Home Paladin Desktop. It was actually suggesting I save it to an export folder directory, but I'm just going to save it directly onto the desktop for my convenience. I wouldn't recommend that, but right now we're just looking for convenience. Okay, so now, oops, that should be on the desktop. Okay, so that should be on the desktop now. Here it is, Porsche5.jpg, and you can see the thumbnail. You can double click it. Okay, nice V8 engine. That was very fast when it wasn't in the shop. Okay, another thing I want to do is try to get a reasonable hex editor. So I'm gonna install apt get install, and bless is a pretty nice hex editor. Okay, bless Porsche5.jpg. Okay, so here we have pretty nice hex editor that will do more than just looking at it in as a text file. Exif, say text. Okay, there, find next. Okay, just found it once. Okay, you can also search hexadecimal, which is really nice. Like if I want to search 4A, 49, I'll find that. So this is a really nice hex editor, and we're going to be using this for some data carving shortly. But for right now, I just wanted to sort of open it up and show it to you. One thing you might actually want to do is search files by attributes. So we're not going to, let's not search by name. Okay. Let's see. We're not going to search by name. We're going to go ahead and do 6,000 here and set that. Okay, so not equal to, let's say greater than. So that should be all but a couple of those files. Okay, so here we get everything except for those two really small text files. Notice it even gives us files for FAT1 and FAT2 since it's a FAT32 device. Okay, so let's go back to tools and generate a report. By the way, there are quite a few plugins you can find in order to do additional things. That's the nice thing about Autopsy, is it is extensible. It's going to generate a report, and we'll go ahead and use Excel. Next. Nice. Okay, now it's opening LibreOffice, so we can take a look at this report. Nice. So this kind of illustrates what can happen with Paladin and Autopsy. I gave this virtual machine 300 gigabytes of space, but for whatever reason, it does not want to behave itself. So what I can do is take a look in this directory here. And look under reports. And let's see, this should be the one. This should be the latest one. So I can actually go ahead and copy that over to a flash drive and take a look at it. Let me go ahead and open up my flash drive that I'm using. This NTFS demo is got just transfer files. Oops. So I can just transfer this out to my working USB device, which doesn't really have anything to do with the evidence. And then I can take it to an external computer and take a look at it. Okay, so let's take a look at this deleted file. Now notice that the media viewer comes up and it actually looks fine. And so does the metadata, so do the strings. Okay, so does the hex data. So evidently it's able to, in the background, recreate this file. And the reason it's actually fairly easy is because all of these files were copied in onto the USB device, and then once all files were copied on, several of them were deleted. However, if you had like all these images copied on, and then this image was deleted, and then maybe all the PDFs were copied on, there's a potential that copying the PDFs onto the USB device would have overwritten the data from this Porsche JPEG. So let's go ahead and right click, and we can view the file in the directory we want. Okay. And this just kind of shows you, where everything's located. Okay. We can view it in a new window. Okay. And this is kind of verifying that everything's correct. Open an external viewer. Okay, it's still actually working. At least it says it's still working. It looks to me like something has gone wrong there. That's okay. Okay, so now we're going to extract the file. And we'll put it, we're just going to put it onto the desktop for our convenience. Normally I wouldn't do that, but we're looking for convenience. Okay, file extracted. And so let's go here. Oops. So let's go here. So look at Porsche3.jpg. And somehow it wasn't able to correctly extract it, which is pretty surprising for me, since it was a contiguous file. Not only was it a contiguous file, but this preview is actually correct. So let's try another file and see if, let's try out, this is an Alice in Chains audio. So extract that, and we'll go ahead and extract it to the desktop again, Alice 2. Okay, so let's go out here. I wonder if we can actually open that in an external viewer, which may actually end up playing the audio. And since I'm in a virtual machine, I'm not really sure how the playback would work, but it may work. It's still trying. Okay. Here's Alice 2. Let's see if we can just double click this and get it to play. It's a fairly large file. It's about 5 megs or so. Okay, we'll hit play. Okay. Let me see if there's a way I can actually get that in there. Nope. Okay. So we bombed out. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to shift over to an older version of Paladin from Kali and see if I can go ahead and get this image to work a little bit better for. Okay, so now we're going to try Kali and see if we have better luck with undeleting files. And Kali is actually a full version behind the Paladin version we are using. The Paladin version is 3 dot something and the Kali version is 2 dot something. But anyway, so let's go under Applications and you'll see Forensics, and let's just go up to Autopsy, and you'll notice that this is actually quite a bit different than the Paladin version of Autopsy. Okay, so this actually this part serves as a server. Then we need to go ahead and run a browser of some sort. Port 9999, Autopsy like that. Looks good. It should come up. Okay, here we go. So we're going to create a new case, and we'll just say case 1. And all of this is really optional. Test case. Okay. Then we have to add a host. And pretty much you can take all of this default information. Now we have to add an image to the case, which was the USB image.img file. Okay, so we'll go next. And we definitely want it to calculate a hash value. And we're going to go ahead and add. Okay. So evidently, Kali and Kali Paladin are not going to cooperate with us either. So I know that this course is not based on Windows, but just for completeness, we're going to go ahead and try the Windows version of Autopsy. And this is Windows 4.1.1, so hopefully anything that was broken in the last 2 versions is now fixed. 001. This actually looks like the Autopsy version from Paladin, except it's a full major version later. Okay, so we are going to use an image file. So we'll go ahead and browse to, it's still an NTFS demo. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and make sure we just do all of this. Okay. And I'm going to snip this video because this will, here again, just like the Linux versions, this is going to take a while. So I will definitely end up snipping the video. Okay, so that actually didn't take nearly as long as the Linux version took. It really only took about 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, so here again we have really the same data, except now we have a whole category called EXIF data, the extracted content. Okay, and what we're going to do is a keyword search, because in the Linux version the keyword search didn't actually work. So I searched for the word free, and declaration and other were text files that we had created previously in some of these presentations. So it picked up the word free in both of those. So this is a really, really nice way to find things. But what we're really after is trying to undelete some of these files. So let's go here, and this should have been perfect because we have the Porsche in the viewer and it looks fine. So let's go ahead and say extract files. And let me just see where that is. That's somewhere in documents. Okay. So I'll extract Porsche 3. Okay, it says it's done. So now let's go ahead and go to documents. In this case, export, there's the Porsche. So the Windows version did great, while both of the Linux versions that I used just seemed to fail. Okay, so let's take a look at the images in this. And let's take a look at this one. Mount, obviously a mountain scene. One of the things you'll notice is it's a fairly small image, or it's not small, but it's not huge or anything. Okay, take a look at the data. It's a PNG, so it should not, for something like this, it probably should not be 167K. Okay, so we're going to suspect something here. So what we're going to do is extract this so that we can do a nice analysis of it. Okay, so let's go ahead and load this up. And it's a PNG. And notice that we had talked last semester about a PNG signature is Hex 89 followed by capital PNG. Okay. So the first thing we want to do is see if there are any other PNG. And let's go ahead and make sure we're searching for text. Okay, found that one. And it didn't find anything else. So there are no other PNGs. The next thing I'm going to go ahead and suspect is JFIF for a JPEG. Let me just try that one more time. No, okay. So no JPEGs. GIF 89. Let's search for that. Oh, here's a GIF 89. Actually, GIF 89A, which is the exact signature of a GIF header. Okay. So now what we want to do. We want to go ahead and select everything from there until the end. So now let's copy that. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a new file. We'll do a paste. Let's go ahead and do a save as. And we'll save this to the desktop. And we'll save it as found.gif. See what happens here. Okay, go ahead and save that. All right, so that's saved. And what we should see is found.gif. And if we double click that, we get this sailboat image. Okay, so here's the original mount and here's the sailboat image. So the sailboat image was concatenated onto the mount image. So this is how we do data carving. And instead of using Autopsy, I went ahead and used the Bless Hex Editor because I think it was easier.